Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of The Letter. Remember how we were about to get killed by a ghost? Well, never mind that now, because we're Hannah, and we're having a house party? This looks like a condo, though. This can't be the mansion. I guess we'll see when this is and what's happening. It is far too easy to get them to pay attention, enraptured. They hang on to my every word and follow my every move. All of it would have been stifling had I not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful, some are hostile if we are honest, and a few are downright inappropriate. After all, I am...
Hannah Wright!
Okay, calm down there, buddy. There's a moment of agitation as a familiar, but less than welcome face approaches me with a suggestive smirk on his face. Of course I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as I greet any good friend. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
He is more Luke's friend than mine, really, and I am quite sure I only invited his wife. Much like I am only friends with the Chief Inspector because of Luke, Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. Unlike how I treated Lee, however, Luke never hid his animosity for the Lee matriarch. It was an odd sort of friendship where we would have awkward double dates. Yeah, that's gotta be bizarre. I don't even recall his first name. It started with an N, I think. I might be wrong. Aside from being Chief Inspector of Luxburn Police, his wife, Rochelle Lee Ney Vance, I hope I said that right, owns a General Electronics company. Fridges and freezers, mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favourite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight. I see the husband isn't with you.
The way he eyes me up is enough to make my skin crawl. If the voice didn't do it already. I just wish Luke were here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. You know the ones. Men who are just a bit too friendly, staring too long at my assets, and getting close just because my husband is not here. And to think they have the gall to do this at my own party. In my own house, if I might add. But like any high society woman worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately. Rochelle isn't here?
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit daft sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor.
Kinda true.
The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with a doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
We make small talk. Rather, I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. Much to my chagrin, I've been extricated from the few who flock in hopes of flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He is a nice enough person, and I adore his wife, who is obviously the brains behind the two, but there is something unsettling about him. Yeah, I can't quite put my finger on it. I do not trust him as much as I want to. He regales to me tales of the Luxburn Police Department, a different affair from the usual gossip I am privy to, and, though I loathe to admit, is interesting nonetheless. I expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. But oh boy, was I wrong.
So, we're in civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the new tank chasing on foot and screaming about theft.
Really? Wow, his wife must be the brains to this outfit.
The look on his face was priceless when I parked it in the garage.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Rochelle is a strange love and hate affair with Lee. He is a married man who did not grow up past his early 20s, judging by the way he acts. Surprisingly enough, they've been married for a good 20 years. A lifetime if you compare it to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. I, on the other hand, well, Luke is no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Although, my darling did have his moments, like 2 installments ago.
The wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Moved for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown. I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife.
Am I right, boys?
I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ads. I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale. Or that something mansion, you know the one with all the ghost stories.
Okay, I guess this isn't much of a surprise. It's before the events of Isabel's story. I know what he is talking about. There are really only a few urban legends around here. It's...
The Ermagood Mansion?
Ah, that's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her. Not to mention all the expenses a place like that would be a real fixer-upper. You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Oh, get out of here! So she really was planning on maybe having a blessing.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task. You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exeters for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom. I think I have a business card no, I must have left it in my other jacket. Anyway, she's called, what's her name, McCullough, Marianne, I believe, yes.
There you go.
But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
Oh. So I wonder if Hannah really had her heart set on this place, or if it could have been like a social status thing.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself. This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
What? Do you see the screenshot of this video game? This is one room. It's a freaking conference hall. This is feeling too small lately. Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not fit the definition of small for some, most people. Okay, maybe a lot of people. At least she has some perspective. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in, even though nobody's near anybody else. As it is, I only invited about 30 people to this one, and it already feels cramped in here. Yeah, it looks it too. It certainly would be nice if I didn't have to ride an elevator up and down several floors before I could get anywhere as well. Yeah, needing an elevator to go multiple floors, how cramped. All Luke's words and not mine. Wow! Damn, Luke. Besides, I have been looking for a good anniversary gift. A mansion. Luke might like this one. Where is he anyway? Yeah, and remember, it took a little convincing, but when he found out about that wine cellar, he perked right up. And there's the first day of Isabella's story, I think. October 21st, Friday. So here's Luke and somebody. Luke is dressed to the nines, as he usually is, and he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side, just in case he isn't as ready as he looks. I assume this is the butler, then? Oh, sure, that is normal. What is confusing me is the fact that he is on his way out of the penthouse, considering we won't have anywhere to go until much later.
Where are you going?
I am to attend the Triad Autumn tasting. I do believe I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
A tasting, huh? So maybe he really is a wine guy.
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol. And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Mary Ann McCullough.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this.
You know, I gotta see something. So... yeah, so each character can have different levels of relationship with other characters. That's really interesting. So would I even want to max relationships with everyone to everyone else? Huh.
This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
You know how I operate, Hana. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis. And you did have this open house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
You know, I was just about to say, this seems like a case where the butler would just be awkwardly standing there like, ugh, let this conversation finish. But no, he comes right in.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
Oh, I like this guy. He did. Moaned about me being too loud, but gave in after some pushing. Perhaps that was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but...
Whose side are you on?
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance.
Gordon Bennett? Is that some sort of British, like... almost swear? Is that like a euphemism for something?
But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff, and you are going to take a cab home.
Oh, so this is interesting, actually. This explains why he was so not really in the mood when they were at the mansion, until he took some convincing to warm up, whereas Hannah was all in.
Are we clear?
It's just a bit of a husband and wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as they seem to call it, reality sets in that you and your partner might not always see eye to eye. Perhaps it has been the years. 7 of them is nothing to scoff at.
I just cannot bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the triad tasting.
Though sometimes I think it's something a bit more than just simple disagreements, and I have to stop myself from wondering where we went wrong.
There's always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour-and-a-half drive.
Have I been neglectful? Have I offended? Have I acted shamefully?
Yes, but Cardiff...
Certainly any problem can be discussed, as long as he doesn't turn me away.
Well, there goes my good mood. Are you happy now, Hana?
Why must he treat me this way? Ooh. Defending myself could escalate the situation, but remaining silent can... Ooh, it depends on his personality. Because remaining silent could show just like, yeah, okay, alright, whatever. But it could also be frustrating, like if he's actually waiting for a response. Let's defend, at the risk of costing our relationship.
Yes, I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time, we are doing what I want.
That's gonna cost us points. No way! Alright, I actually, believe it or not, I was gonna stick to my guns for this one, but now I have all the more reason to.
I'm ecstatic. Understood. And this would be perfect if you stop acting like a child who needs their nappy changed. We will be leaving after lunch for the Ermengarde mansion. You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.
Needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked at my little outburst. He opened and closed his mouth a few times, struggling to reply, before he crosses, past to present, his arms to look like, well, a moping child.
Any more rules for this little excursion of yours, Your Highness?
No wine.
Also, while we're at it, stop whining. Eh?
No wine? Unacceptable! I am already not allowed to the tasting, and you would deprive me of that simple pleasure?
This is very hard for me to describe, but the way... I don't know what it is, but I love hearing a delivery in that way. Unacceptable! That's freaking excellent. I don't know. Where have I heard this? Like, yes! Like, that kind of delivery. Something about it's just very amusing to me.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
All right. Bye-bye.
If I see you take one sip today, I will put the stocks under lock and key. Do you understand me?
Don't forget the bottles he keeps in his dresser.
Johannes, you are the freaking man.
Whose side are you on?
How many times in one day can you ask that?
As many times as I need you, traitor.
This guy must be one, like, deeply embedded butler who's been here for years, because he can do this and get away with it. The ride to the mansion is quiet, with Luke having stared out the window the entire way, not paying attention to anything around him. Meanwhile, I am conflicted. I don't know if I should apologize for changing his plans like that, but by the time we arrive at the mansion and I see his eyes light up in genuine interest, apologizing is the last thing on my mind. And here we are. The whole affair with the Ermengarde... I thought so! They spelled Ermengarde differently before, like with an H, Ermengarde. Like, oh my god, Ermengarde. But now it's back to Ermengarde. Huh. The whole affair with the Ermengarde mansion is certainly an interesting experience. The place had been renovated and restored by the owners to what they claim to be acceptable standards. The mansion itself looks like something befitting a fairy tale or a period piece. It is tastefully decorated, and, with a little bit of love and attention, I'm sure it can be a place Luke and I can call home. And the number of other prospective buyers that have come from the powerful and wealthy of Luxburn certainly did not disappoint, marking this estate as prime property. The Lees are amongst the group who went with the Rose Woman, and I saw a few other notable faces, though I did not really feel like mingling. Oh, so the other family is here, we just didn't know. Interesting. Unfortunately for every one of them, the Wrights are interested in buying. Hey, we're here! What's been bugging my mind, however, is that Isabel. Yeah, because she's a freaking, like, disaster of a salesperson this time around. Also, we haven't seen Isabel in the talking to us art, so this is new. What is her problem? Also, I like that in Hannah's inner monologue, she actually is calling her Isabel. She really is just getting her name wrong. It's not even like a power play. She's just not remembering her name. I still don't quite understand what is happening. One moment she's scrambling to give us the paperwork to finalize the sale. Then she's panicking over some sort of prank letter or another.
Dear me. Is Isabel alright?
Yeah, we've had this conversation. Interesting. It is apparent with the way she shakes and by the pallor of her skin, something has really shaken her up.
Isabella, do you need me to call that ambulance?
I am worried, but it will be best if she is attended to by someone more familiar to her, like her partner. But even then, the girl refuses Rose's offered drink and looks just about ready to make a run for it.
No, I'm just feeling a bit out of it. Excuse me. I'll be back. I just need to catch my breath.
And she does so, just as I predicted, and her partner follows like a concerned mother. There is an awkward air among us as we are left in the wake of whatever that was. The others murmur and gossip with each other, speaking of the poor daft girl and telling the tale to whoever was not audience to the act in the first place. It doesn't take too long for the woman, Rose, to return and pull us aside into the study for what I rightfully assume is damage control. Oh, look at this place. Rose invites Marianne in too, and again, now we're spelling it Marianne instead of Mary Ann. I don't know what's going on. Hoping to apologize to her as well. But the woman refuses, saying she is not one of her clients anyway. That leaves myself, Rose, and Luke. The last all too eager to make himself comfortable in a study he's no doubt already claimed as his own.
I can't apologize enough about what just happened. Please forgive Isabella.
Yeah, I like this, because Isabella was not here for this, so we would not have seen the scene already.
She's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's young and all those rumors about this being haunted just got to her head. And it must be this terrible heat too. Not a drop of rain for days now.
Are you sure it is wise to just let her go like that? Where is the poor dear? She might get hurt.
She's more likely to hurt somebody else, given what just happened.
Little do we know, Rose is gonna freaking die over that stupid letter.
I told her to sit down and take a break. Already rang someone to pick her up, too.
That might be for the best, dear. But please, we're here to talk about the mansion, yes? Why, I absolutely adore it. Don't you, Luke? Some of the rooms will certainly have to be repurposed. We want to change the appliances and have Marianne lead on the decor, but the whole thing is just lovely.
I guess. It's certainly a lot roomier than our penthouse.
Exactly. Lots of space for guests, parties, a lot of room for little ones to run around too.
I don't know how on board Luke would be with something like that.
Let's not discuss that right now, Buttercup.
Bingo.
Anyway, I do think it would be a shame to let this mansion slip past us.
But you haven't even finished touring the house.
Well, we like what we've seen.
Notice, by the way, that Luke spoke his line correctly, past us, but the text said pass. I am making her job easier for her, am I not? No need for loans or long price negotiations. We can just sign a contract and close the deal. Really, you'd think the woman would be more happy about an easy sale. I know how these estate agents worked, how long they had to wait and how much they had to spend even just for a single sale. Why, she should be jumping for joy by now. I'm sure the commission on this mansion is nothing to sneeze at, even if she has to split it with the Isabel girl.
Do you think we could have horses here?
Yes, those do sound nice, love.
I forgot who asked. No, you know what? I forgot when it was. I forgot if it was before or after this, when Isabella went to the kitchen, but she did specify that some previous owner 100 years ago, or 200 or whatever, used to have a horse stable in the backyard, so yeah, that should be good.
Anyway, if anyone else is interested in buying this property, I assure you that I am able and willing to give a better offer.
A vineyard would be nice. Or maybe,
You should stop drinking alcohol. I want to grow my own vineyard.
And we do reward our people quite generously, Rose. So, if I were you, I would start on that paperwork.
Helicopter pad.
Oh, clever. Because remember, Luke did mention that before. Like, I did say a helicopter pad or something. Like, he made it sound like he'd mentioned a helicopter pad before. Well, he did, right now. I pause. And there's a small moment of complete silence where Rose and I just stare incredulously at Luke. It is an unspoken understanding, a rule, between the two of us that we have to put on an act. With our social standing, where image matters, it is also important to avoid making enemies. And to follow this rule is an easy feat for me. From youth, I have been the well-trained social butterfly, gracious and graceful. Luke, on the other hand...
Oh, wait, what, Luke? No, what? Whatever would we need a helipad for?
Well, he likes to play the fool sometimes, even if he is anything but. As he throws me a wry smile, I shake my head and beckon Rose over. This is to be our home, and there is nothing she or anyone else can do to change my mind. This is a place that speaks of power and importance, and, at the same time, of safety and comfort. Perhaps we can even have our family here. There is definitely no better gift than this for our special date. Why, everything here is absolutely wonderful. What? Really? Well, except for this ugly painting in the study. Is this going to be like one of those creepypasta threads? I went back and looked at it later. It wasn't a painting. It was a window. It's supposed to be clear. It looks like a bad fake of an Edvard Munch painting. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, the scream. Okay.
Here's the deal. I'm willing to pay 10% higher than your listing price. If anyone tries to outbid us, just add another 5%.
Ooh, okay, Hannah, but does that mean 115%, or does that mean 5% of 110%? I gotta do the math here.
I doubt anyone can, of course. Or, you know what? Just add 15% to the listing price, and we can sign all the paperwork now.
Wow. And yeah, they did mention 15% in our Isabella story.
I guess, if that's what you want. That won't be any trouble. I don't have all the papers now. Didn't think this would be a quick sell. I'll have copies sent to you so you can look over them. And if you'd still like to finish the rest of the tour with Isabella's group, you're more than welcome to.
No, I think we're good here. We'd appreciate a private tour of the place a lot more, I think.
All right. Should I let Marianne in, then?
So that's why Isabella didn't know about the private tour, because they mentioned it here, in private, and I guess the communication just never happened between Isabella and Rose. Marianne? Again, they just... Is this a case of Hannah getting the name wrong? But it sounds the same if you say it out loud quickly. I don't know. Oh, right. She's been waiting outside the study this whole time, hasn't she? I'll need to have a little chat with her to move this little mansion project forward.
Please do.
There is a look of apprehension when the other woman enters the study. Yet, like a professional, I see the moment when she steels herself and masks her worry. Admirable. Damn, Hannah's good because she caught all that.
We have this project, then?
Because you're supposed to not see that.
Of course. Will you be needing anything from us?
Having the floor plans would be a great start, just so that I can look at them beforehand. And if you could tell me when you're available for a meeting so that I can include it in my calendar?
Oh, is a meeting really all that necessary, Marianne? I guess we can send Johans to help you out.
Oh, Johans, excuse me. I said Johannes.
You two can start by getting rid of this ugly painting.
Don't freaking smash cut with the doom. You freaking got me, game. A hush falls upon the room at my request. But Hannah, I don't see any painting at all.
What painting?
Wait, really? And lo and behold, the painting is gone. Yeah, that was not a painting. Ooh. In its place, a mirror stands. Hey. That ghost wastes no time. Which leaves me to look at my own confused expression. Wow. So Hannah got spooked before... Well, I mean, Isabella, of course, saw the ghost first. But Hannah got glass spooked before Isabella got glass spooked.
Odd. Well, no matter.
Wow. Okay.
Back to the topic at hand. Marianne, dear, we are simply far too busy to meet up.
Question the need. No. Free up my schedule.
But I guess we can free up a day to meet with you.
You know what I like about stuff like this is that we might actually go in different directions with the story. I don't think this is going to be a case of slightly different dialogue. Like we got the priest to come to the house. We might have gone in a different direction with the psychologist, because it would have felt a little bit weak to say, yes, I should see a psychologist. No, let's bring a priest. You know, like we might actually have gone in a very different direction with the story.
I don't really need another Maudlin Monday reading about Maury anyway. The book club can function without me for one day. What time shall we be seeing each other? How does lunch sound?
Besides, my house is a higher priority over book club. Why, we can hold the next meeting in this place. Surely the beauty and grandeur of it all will inspire spirited and lively debates about whether modern-day writers could match up to the classics. I might as well clear up the rest of my week to handle whatever affairs buying this mansion requires of me. Any social activity can be put off until the Ermengarde, or rather, the Wright Mansion's great debut. I'll have my fill of great parties and gatherings, especially when I organize them myself.
That sounds good.
Yeah, now, again, Marianne, there are no rules.
Although, with a project of this scope, we might need most of the day to tackle your concerns. A more thorough inspection of the place is also preferable.
Breakfast then. It's a date.
It's really not.
All right. Monday. 10 o'clock sharp. We'll see you then.
Actually, Marianne suggested that we meet at 9, but who is even awake at that unholy hour? I know, right? I was lucky enough to wake up this morning before Luke went all the way to Cardiff. We say our goodbye, shake hands, and make it clear without outright saying it that we now own this house. By the time we left the mansion grounds, sunset is almost upon us.
So, you really want to buy this place then? That's a bit of a big impulse buy, even coming from you. Right? Not that I'm complaining.
Had that evil look. I feel elation when I hear those words from him. It's not every day one is able to please someone like Luke. Not to mention how pissed off he was this morning. This is a good change. He gives away false flattery to sway those who starve for his attention and approval, but in the privacy of closed doors, he would often express his grievances. He neither censored himself in front of me, nor spared me from his criticism. He certainly didn't censor himself a couple of installments ago.
You have been saying the penthouse was getting a bit too small for you. Happy anniversary!
Oh. That time of the year already?
Oh god, I have to buy a gift. Oh god. He forgot about it last year, too. I understand that he's a busy man, but...
Is that why you want to buy it?
Yes. You don't like it?
I do. But I remember you used to talk about how you wanted to live next to the beach.
Botany Bay, Kent. I remember the sea, water that stretched on for miles and miles as far as the eyes can see. As a kid, I loved our beach trips, swimming all day as much as I could. I was a well-behaved child, and the only time I was ever truly difficult was when I refused to get out of the waters, even when my fingers had gone all wrinkly. And even when they managed to pull me out of the water, there was always sandcastles. The day before we married, I told Luke that I wanted a house on a beach and a dog. A house on a dog? That's so cruel! And a kid or two. Oh, she did make that apparent early. Okay. None of those came true 7 years later.
That was a childish dream. Living next to the beach is so impractical if you really think about it.
Is this gonna be the theme of this game? she is not the first character. She's like, what, the third now to have this childhood dream that's just never come true?
I don't know. It's not a bad thought to see you in a bathing suit every day.
Maybe another time, love. We still have forever, don't we?
He says nothing, only grabbing my hand and holding it tight as we spend the rest of the ride home in silence. I miss the sea. Sick and hovering over the loo at 3 in the morning, the picture I paint right now is hardly glamorous. A horribly fishy taste is left in my mouth as I throw up what I had for dinner, and I hate the acrid stench that fills the lavatory. The burning sensation at the back of my throat is of no help whatsoever. I could feel another wave of nausea coming up on me when the door opens.
Hannah, what are you doing so early out of bed?
I'm fine, love. I must have just eaten something bad.
That's all I managed to say before vomiting again into the porcelain throne. Lovely.
Just go back to bed, Luke. I'm going to clean up here.
I refuse to look at him. I don't want him to see me like this. The last time I've had a horrible morning retching into a toilet was during my college years, being the life of the party. Thoughtless and shameless, I had thrown away months to frivolous merriment and pointless hookups. I didn't even retain any of the connections I had made from that time. Sure, they still know of me, and I still know of them, and we still do business from time to time, but I've lost touch with anyone who I didn't see on a daily basis. Whom? I hardly have any of the friends I had when I was still Hannah Evans. Teachers, fellow university students, drinking buddies, and old conquests like Jack.
No, don't touch me, sweetie. It's disgusting. I'm disgusting.
Luke sits down next to me on the toilet floor to hold my hair even as I cough up more fish. He wipes the vomit from the corner of my mouth and just stares.
Do I need to fire someone? I don't feel sick.
Just feeling a bit under the weather, dear. It's been unbearably hot as of late, hasn't it? I do wish it would rain.
Are you sure it wasn't those sweets? I told you not to eat those sweets.
Maybe. Well, don't laugh.
Well, I can't help if you make that sort of face.
He starts chuckling, and soon enough, he's in a fit of laughter. This scene happening next to a loo with Sick just makes the whole thing bizarre, and it nearly makes me start giggling as well. I try to stifle it, though, as I smack him on the shoulder.
I'm not making a face, Luke. Stop laughing. Shut up.
When he would not stop laughing, I let myself go as laughter bubbles from my own throat, and I forget whatever ill feelings plagued me. We are just husband and wife, laughing together at a funny face. The little things in life. I let myself go because I know that these moments will not last forever. We're in the middle of a horror video game. But if I just know the terrible things that are to come for us... Oh, they just say it. I would have wished with everything I have then and there that the laughter stayed. So does Hannah live then?
Come on now.
Because she's speaking in retrospect? The place is bustling with movers, carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. Luke watches them like a hawk, making sure nothing is handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings.
Okay, geez.
Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
Not helping the morale there, buddy.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma Hut. No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
I could see the exasperation, and I have to send the foreman an apologetic glance. Even Johannes rolls his eyes as he goes by. Even? I would imagine especially. Considering Luke is always like this during a project, Johannes and I have gotten used to it. Poor Mary Ann, on the other hand, looks a bit stressed at seeing the gigantic mess before quickly going back to work. Everything just has to be perfect, exactly the way he wants it. One little thing out of place, one little thing that didn't fit the image he clearly constructed in his head, and Luke gets bent out of shape.
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let Johannes and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
I swear, this game had better not kill Johannes. Taking him by the hand, I lead him upstairs into our bedroom. Wow. A 4-poster bed, that's like... I was gonna say it's cliche, but this is a 17th century house, so I don't know. This place has been arranged first so that we can get some rest, no matter what state the rest of the mansion is in. I am definitely glad I can just lie down in a soft, comfy bed after what has been a busy morning. Watching Luke act like his life depended on getting this move done is tiring all on its own. And to think I have a whole day of this ahead of me. I feel the bed dip beside me as Luke sits down with a sigh.
Well, I can't wait for this to be over.
That's okay. Neither can anyone else.
I don't know. It's fun seeing you all fired up. Here at home and not at work, you know.
You know I can't always be home, Hana. I have a company to run, unless you've forgotten.
I haven't forgotten. You're the one who insists on being there to make sure each and every little thing is under control. I just really miss you sometimes, and I wish you were at home more often. Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home. And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at before. I love cats, but in a house like this?
Besides, you don't even like cats.
That's true. She's a dog person.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess? I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
We laugh. It's not always that we can just lie down and talk about these sorts of things. To joke around as if we're teenagers again with very little problem in the way of responsibilities and roles. To hear his genuine, honest-to-goodness laughter is a rarity. This is just the second time as of late. And I can only see it as signs of good things to come.
All good points. I guess we could just have kids. That is, if you prefer dealing with soiled nappies and sick as opposed to dead birds, mice, and litter boxes.
I'll take the dead birds, mice, and litter boxes, thanks.
I've already told Marianne about turning the second bedroom into a children's room.
I guess sometimes I don't know when I'm crossing a line. Yeah, he did say we'll talk about that later, but like, she's really moving ahead with this. I didn't say that I'm a good comedian, did I?
Not this again.
What? I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of. Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hana. We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm not ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing the little brat by the week's end.
He probably would too, a micromanager like him. What should I say? You'll be a great father. Apologize for bringing it up. This time I will apologize for bringing it up, because you'll be a great father is basically arguing in favor of this. Really? Huh. Okay. I feel guilty, uneasy even, about bringing this topic up. This isn't the first time I've brought it out there, considering we've been married for 7 years. But I should have learned my lesson. Talking about it has always gotten me disapproval. After all, this is one of the surefire ways to get Luke into a terrible mood.
I'm sorry, but I do think you...
Don't finish that sentence, Hana. Just don't.
Yeah, so like, if we had just said I'm sorry, it probably would have been over. Damn it.
We know how this discussion ends. Let's not fight over what-ifs and if-onlys.
But what if we are going to have a family, Luke? What then?
I just told you. No what-ifs.
We won't talk about it until you're ready.
Let's not talk about it then. Ever.
The silence that follows is stifling. That is uncomfortable. I avert my gaze from him, favoring the view of our 4-poster bed overseeing his embittered expression. Just thinking of how insensitive I am for bringing it up makes me feel sick to my stomach. We stay still. Neither of us dares make the first move to leave. Oh no! Until a crash from downstairs cuts through the tension. Good news, he's no longer mad at me. Bad news, he's way madder.
Oh bloody hell, what is it now? I can't get away for 10 minutes without someone mucking something up. That better not be what I think it is. I know it's only an 8 million yen vase, but I swear, I
don't stop him as he storms off, and he doesn't even bother to look my way. Yet, I can still feel his eyes boring into me. Alone, as per usual. I really should be used to it by now. I could feel the minutes tick by with me just lying there, feeling miserable and full of self-pity. I have rolled over to lie on my stomach at this point with my face buried into the pillows when there's a knock at the door. Grumbling at them to go away doesn't work, as a voice comes from the other side.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Wait, is that today? Oh, yes. People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications, and it took longer than it usually does for us.
In a minute, Hansi.
Johannes, if you could at least make it through the end.
Wow. This guy. Also, he said Johannes, so I guess I was right the first time? I don't know.
Tell them I'll be right down, Hansi.
Wow. The mansion grounds has been one of the first things to be fixed up aside from the bedroom. Although it's still a work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favored daffodils stand out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftop of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of a man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look much larger. No way, so he was the photographer? So he also just happened to come back with a priest, like, oh, you're here again? It is a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does handling little, delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am.
No kidding.
Hope you weren't waiting too long.
I know you said he had a gig, I didn't think it was this.
But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
You look familiar. Have we met?
This isn't after the priest, is it? I have a very wide social circle, so everyone looks familiar at some point or another. But one would think I'd remember someone who stands out like him. Yeah, he's about 20 feet tall. The struggle to recall must have been evident on my face as he quickly and kindly answers my question.
Oh, I was with Isabella, your estate agent, when she had the house blessed.
Oh, this was after. Ooh, boy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Small world, isn't it?
Should have known you were Miss Wright.
The one and only. Welcome, welcome to Maison de Right. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed. But it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
No, just him.
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright, Hannah.
Okay. Achievement unlocked. Monsieur le Photographe. I might have pronounced the photograph part wrong. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in this industry, at the very least. Okay. So Zach's doing the photo shoot. I don't know if things are going to get horribly awkward in the next few minutes, but in the meantime, for now it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? We are moving right along in Hannah's story from before and after the events of Isabella's story. Pretty much after, anyway. What I find particularly interesting is that Hannah actually saw the spooky ghost. So, we've had early warning. But no matter, we're going ahead, getting the mansion, getting things installed in it. Luke definitely has his ups and downs. But hey, now we're with Zach and he's apparently doing a good job at a photo shoot. Hannah expected a crew, but a one-man crew is doing a good enough job. This sounds like it's going well, but of course, as Hannah said herself, if she only knew what would have come. I guess we'll get to that point soon enough. Until next time, everyone.